What's up, what's going on, legends? It's your boy Errl Shatter here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the top 5 most broken things here in Season 6 of Modern Warfare and Warzone. Now, we've had some broken things in the past. They don't typically get fixed till the mid-season update, and sometimes even the end of the season, and depending on what the issue is at hand, it can be kind of game-breaking or overall ruin the experience. And we're going to actually dive into the top 5 things that are happening currently in Season 6 that we hope that they will fix soon. Now, before we jump into the rest of the video, if you guys do enjoy this content anytime, make sure you show your support for the channel by going down below and smashing that like button. Go ahead and throw a goal of 20 likes on today's video. Also, if you guys are interested in finding your way back to the channel for more Modern Warfare, Warzone, and Cold War content once that's released, make sure you guys do hit that subscribe button alongside that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. So like I said, we're diving into the top 5 most broken things here in Season 6. I do want to mention it's in no particular order. I feel like all of these things are definitely an issue, and it's kind of overall ruining the experience for some of us and just kind of making Warzone a little bit more difficult to want to play on a regular basis. Now, the first thing that we're diving into, or number 1, is going to be the ASVAL, which for those of you that are unfamiliar, it is the weapon that you unlock around tier 30 or tier 31 of the battle pass. It is an assault rifle, and it is overall a pretty solid weapon. It does have a faster rate of fire, so you do typically run through ammo quicker, and it only has a 30-round magazine, so you can only imagine what that's like, especially if you dive into the war zone. Now, however, there is an ammo conversion for this weapon. It's to make it more typically like a sniper rifle, but there's something really broken about it. Now, the intention of the SPP 10-round mag is to increase ADS speed, damage range, movement speed, as well as bullet penetration, and typically you're going to want to use this with a sniper scope just because of the fact that you do only have 10 rounds. But when you actually run this like an SMG or an assault rifle with these rounds on it, you will quickly realize that the bullet penetration is basically infinite. You can shoot through entire buildings. As long as you know where the person is, doesn't matter the surface, you are going to be able to absolutely dominate them. This is where snapshot grenades have now become more popular. If you can throw that, see where the enemies are in the building, you can easily take them out through the wall, and it's just absolutely insane. I don't know if this was their intention with the bullet penetration. I don't think this is the idea they had when they were imagining putting this into the game. I could obviously imagine it being similar to having FMJ in some aspects without having it actually equipped. But this is a little bit over the top, and I think it's kind of game-breaking, especially if you guys have actually been killed by it out there. You know exactly what I mean. So hopefully this gets addressed. Hopefully they don't let this go for too long, because I can tell it's going to get exhausting just based on how much it's affected the game at this point. Now, the second thing we're going to talk about is, of course, the other weapon that came to us here in Season 6. You get it at Tier 15 of the Battle Pass, and that's going to be the new marksman rifle known as the SPR-208. Now, the SPR-208 typically isn't too overpowered on a regular, standpoint. However, again, we have the ammo conversion. We have the 300 Norma rounds, as well as the 338 Lapua rounds. And when either of these are equipped, you basically have 0 bullet drop, and the bullets hit instantly after firing. They call this a hit scan. It's not super good for the game, I don't think. It's really overpowered. It's basically aim at somebody's head, and you shoot that gun, it's going to hit them instantly. They're going to go down, and overall, it's just really frustrating to get killed by it. I'm sure at this point, if you guys are out there in the war zone, you've been, absolutely getting melted by this thing. The only downfall to it is it seems like bullets disappear somewhere around the 415 meter range. Obviously, at that point, it's going to be hard to hit people anyway, but it does make this thing just extremely dominant below that point. Now, a weird addition to these rounds, it seems like for both the 338 Lapua as well as the Norma, there's supposed to be an ADS penalty. The description of the ammo conversion specifies that it is a decrease in ADS as a penalty for their upsides, but after seeing some people test this, it appears that the 300 Normas actually reduce ADS time by 25 milliseconds, and the 338 Lapuas actually reduce the ADS by 45 seconds. That's absolutely insane. They do the opposite of what they're intended to do. Overall, just extending, not only is it hit scan, but some of these rounds just aren't functioning the way they're intended at all, and it's overall just absolutely broken. So if you guys haven't already gone out there and leveled this thing up, you're truly missing out on an experience, because they're absolutely going to nerf this in the near future, I believe. Now, the third thing that we're going to be talking about is a little bit more difficult to replicate. It just happens at random. It's, consistent enough that it'll happen to you a few times if you're playing for a few hours. I was able to get a single clip of it for you guys today, And basically what happens is, if you're dropping out of the the plan at the beginning, or even sometimes exiting a vehicle. It will aim you in a complete direction you're not facing in. Maybe it's the sky, maybe it's complete 180 from where you're actually intending to look at, and that can be bad for trying to drop in, obviously, if you're trying to get somewhere quick. But most importantly, in vehicles, say you're driving at somebody, you realize you got to jump out and maybe get into an engagement. You jump out, you look in the complete opposite direction. It gives them so much time to actually take you out. The first time that I experienced this glitch, I actually did something very similar. I was intending on jumping out and helping my teammate who had already downed one of the individuals. I jump out of the vehicle, end up staring at the stars. Next thing I know, I'm getting absolutely melted by somebody that I could have easily taken out. Another minor, but overall bad experience, kind of bug or glitch in the game. This is something that can be very frustrating, especially if you're out there trying to jump into engagements, or maybe you're doing really well getting a high kill match, and you have something like this happen to you. It can be extremely frustrating, which is why this has found its way into the top 5 list. The fourth thing in our top 5 is going to be the slug rounds for the shotguns in Warzone. So in our most recent update, update 1.27, or the season 6 update, they actually did a buff to the slug rounds in Warzone. They increased the damage of them, which obviously kind of compensated for the fact that they did finally nerf the origin. Only, I think they made something just as broken, if not a little bit worse, depending on how you look at it. So specifically with the 7.25, I was able to replicate this. It is possible that it works with the other shotguns as well, but I did not test those, so I cannot confirm 100% if it works for them. Basically, what happens is when you throw the slug rounds on, you have like 100% damage range with these things. It doesn't matter how far away they are. You hit them in the head, you're gonna down them. It does over 250 damage, it seems like. Instant downs. Obviously they're the last player in the squad, or maybe you're playing solos, you're going to instantly eliminate them. This is absolutely crazy. It can basically be a sniper. However, the bullet drop is very hard to deal with, so it's more unrealistic to be a sniper, obviously, but you can take some people out, especially if you have decent aim and a reasonable range, and it's just absolutely broken. In fact, you can one-shot kill somebody with a shotgun in Warzone is busted, no matter how you look at it. And I think that this is something they should address. You know, it shouldn't be infinite range. Sure, the slug should do a little bit more damage, but I don't think this is what they intended on when they were actually putting these into the game or making the changes that they were for Season 6 for our shotguns in general. Now, the fifth and final thing in our top 5 things that are broken here in Modern Warfare, we're going to be talking about the C4 nerf. Now, a lot of us probably disagree with this. I overall think they took it a little over the top. I kind of understand what they were trying to go for when actually nerfing the C4. It's obviously the most used lethal out there in the Warzone. For many reasons, it's extremely useful. Helps you take people out in corners. You know, campers obviously is what we're talking about. It's really good for taking down vehicles. We were able to huck it at a pretty decent range, but overall it didn't seem super overpowered. It was just very, very useful, and kind of why I think they went in the direction they did. But I 100% think they took it too far. So they added a slight delay when performing a quick detonation. You will now hear a beep when you actually trigger a quick detonation. And also they reduced the initial throw velocity by 30%. This is huge, especially if you're getting somebody up in the rafters in the building. You're going to try to throw your C4 up there since you can't shoot through the bottom of it. You're just not going to make it up there. It's just going to completely drop. And depending on if you detonate it or not, will determine possibly if you live or not. Also, when you're trying to throw it at a vehicle, you want to kind of put some distance between you and that car. It's going to be a lot more challenging now, as by the time you detonate it, it is possible you're going to also be within the range and cause damage to yourself, and possibly cause yourself to go, you know, into the gulag, or even worse, lose the match. The C4 nerf is, I think, a little bit over the top. I think it kind of pushes us in the wrong direction as far as where I was hoping Season 6 would go. I think that each of these things we've talked about today in this video serves some broken purpose in the game. Overall, I hope to see them get changed, and I'm excited to see if we see that before the mid-season update. Hope that these are things that they address quickly. I think that they could, you know, tone back the C4 nerf a little bit. Maybe it doesn't have to all the way be overturned, but some of these other things definitely need to be addressed, as they're a lot more game-breaking, and they overall ruin the experience of the game. I do want to do a quick notable mention of a couple other things. They did add a couple of streaks to Warzone. I believe you can get them in the bunkers or by completing the Easter egg, one of which is going to be the advanced UAV. This actually works the way an advanced UAV was intended, but it is pretty strong. Obviously, it's rare that you can only get one, why it didn't find its way into the top 5. Then the other kill streak that we got is called Foresight. It's basically like completing all the recons that would allow you to in one match, only you just pick this up once. It's going to show you all the circles, including the end zone circles. You'll be able to immediately, you know, depending on when you got this in the match, Go toward those circles, find a good camping spot or high ground, and chill for the rest of the match, putting yourself in a really good position to win. Like I said, both of these are notable, but I don't think these are as game-breaking as some of the other things that we have issues with here in Season 6. So they didn't find their way into the top 5, but I thought I would include them today. But that's going to wrap things up for today's video. If you guys did enjoy this content at any time, make sure you guys smash that like button and show your support. Hit that subscribe button if you want to find your way back to the channel. And most importantly, appreciate you guys for all the support in today's video, all the support on the channel, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace!